All right. According to every other class today, we should have plenty of time today. Maybe if it's homework time, it's homework stamp, that'd be good. I do want to inform you, because our calendar doesn't go that far, we need one more roll on the calendar, that you will have a test next week, Thursday. So that's a summative test. That's one of those tests that you don't get to just fix your answers and get all your points back. Okay? That's a one-shot take. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Okay? Right? So that's next week, Thursday. Okay? So next week we'll spend a couple of days. We've got one more lesson and then 2 days of review to go in for the test. Okay? All right? So, I want to say this is on page, what page are we on for this one? 28? Okay. So page 28. So it's an arithmetic sequence with an initial value of 13 and a common difference of 9. Find me the first 5 terms. Fancy way of saying that for the first one. Second one, it's an arithmetic sequence with a recursive formula of that. Find me the first 5 terms. And then find me the recursive, or use the recursive rule to find me 2 explicit functions. Okay? Looks like they're all arithmetic today. Go for it. So if it's arithmetic, and my first term is 13, then I'm going to be, with a common difference of 9, my second term would be 22. I'd add 9. My third term would be 31. I'd add 9. My fourth term would be 40. I'd add 9. And my fifth term would be 49. I'd add 9 every single time. Yes? Huh? Second one, our first term is 53. What are we doing to get the next term? We're subtracting 4. Yep, exactly. Right here it says that we are subtracting 4 to get the next term. So the next term would be 49. The third term would be 45. The fourth term would be 41. And the fifth term would be 37. Good so far. Okay. Use the recursive rule to find the explicit equations for the same function. Okay, so what is it telling us that we're doing in number 3? Anyone, what's it telling us? Oh, so what? So each time we are not adding 7 every time. We're adding what? We're adding 32 every time. Okay? So that tells us that our common difference, D, there is 32. So our explicit function would be f of n is equal to 7 plus 32 times n minus 1. Or if you wanted to write it as 32 n minus 1, then plus 7, that's fine. Same thing. Or if you wanted to write it as 32n minus 25. All those are the same thing. Okay. What are we doing to get the next term in number 4? Subtracting 8. So f of n here is going to equal 63 minus 8 times the quantity n minus 1, or negative 8 times the quantity n minus 1 plus 63, or negative 8n plus 71. Good? All right. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to deal with finding missing terms in geometric expressions. Tuesday, almost said yesterday, Tuesday, we figured out that we took the last number and we subtracted off the first number and we divided it by the number of jumps, and that gave us our common difference D. Okay? With geometrics, now knowing that we are going to be in geometrics, what do we do to get the next term in a geometric? What's our mathematical operation? We're going to multiply to get the next term. Okay? Never divide, always multiply. So we're going to multiply by that R value. So this here, we're going to multiply by R to get that missing one. This here, we're going to multiply by R to get that missing one. Okay? So it's not a very nice and neat and easy function or formula to plug into. So here now, we're going to take our last term, okay, and then that's going to equal our starting term times our R value to the jump power. So however many jumps you went, that's the power that goes on R. Because we multiplied by R, we multiplied by R again to get 12. So that means that we had to multiply by R twice. So we multiplied by R squared. Okay? So in this particular case, it would be 12 equals 3 times R to the second power. We have two jumps. Okay? Knowing your mathematical skills, what would you do first in this case? If we've got 3 times R squared on the right side, 12 on the left side. What will we do first? We want to solve for R. We want to find what our ratio is. What's 3 doing to R squared? What's 3 doing to R squared? It's multiply. Okay, so how do I get rid of that 3 then? I'm going to divide both sides by 3. That then gives me 4 equals R squared. Still want to get R. Do I have R by itself? No, I got R squared. So how can I get rid of the R squared? Just make it R. It's being squared, right? Can't divide by 2. When I said that 3 was being multiplied, or you told me that 3 was being multiplied, right? Or somebody did. And then you said you had to divide. What are multiplication and division in math? Do you know? Anybody? What's multiplication and division? They're both operations, but they share something. If you multiply a number by 3, okay? Pick a number in your head, we'll make it small. Pick a number between 1 and 5 in your head. Okay? Now multiply that number by 3. Got it? Now divide your new number by 3. What are you back at? Your starting number. So what is multiplication and division in math? What do they do to each other? They're opposite, or they cancel each other out as long as we're multiplying by and dividing by the same thing, right? Okay. So what's the opposite, or what cancels out squaring a number? Square rooting a number. Okay. So we have to square root here this number. Okay. And we have to do the opposite of it. So if we're squaring, we square root to get rid of it. Okay. Now, I will tell you this. What is the square root of 4? Shouldn't need a calculator for this one. Number times itself, okay, get 4 is 2, right? What's wrong with 2? Right, so then this would be 6. Right, does that work? 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Yes? Yeah? What about 3 times what gives me -2? Oops, I said it. We're going to multiply by -2. 3 times -2 is -6. -6 times -2 is +12. So that works also, right? Okay? So the kicker is, this is called an even root. Okay? Square roots, 4th roots, 6th roots. Okay? When you're taking it to an even root, you have to add in plus or minus right there to your r, because now you have 2 r values that work. Okay? So if we're taking an even root, a square root, because that's the 2nd root, a 4th root, a 6th root, an 8th root, anytime that's an even power, we're taking that root, we have to add in that plus or minus, because that also then works. Okay? Let's try number 2. My last number was 875. My first number is 7. And how many jumps did I go? 1, 2, 3. So that would be to r to the 3rd power. Okay. So we're at 875 equals 7 times r cubed. What's the first thing that we're going to do? Divide by 7. Yep. Okay. What is 875 divided by 7? 125? Okay. Now what? Not square root. We want to take the cube root. We want to take the 3rd root, right? Okay, so here's how we write this. Okay, so it's gonna look like a square root, but we're gonna put a little 3 in that gap there outside of the radical. That tells us that we're taking the 3rd root of that. Okay? Now your calculators are all kinds of different on this, on how we do this one. Okay? Some of your calculators, like if you can see what you're typing in, like these wonderful TI-30X's, okay? So then you would type in 3, then the second and then you would type in 125. For those of you that can't see what you're typing in, I think you type in 125 first. No, I think you do 125 first. So there's a sort of 125. Then now you go second, and then it's going to be, where's your next one? It's going to be second of this one that was underneath it on that one, and then 3. Enter. Yeah, there you go. Hey, either way, you should get 5. Anybody struggling to get 5 on their calculator? Third root of 125. Speak now, because this is going to be what your homework is tonight. Everybody good? Okay. All right. Is it an even root? Did we take an even root? No, because we took the third root. Third is an odd number, so that means that there's only one, so we can multiply by 5. So what is 7 times 5? 35. What is 35 times 5? 175. What is 175 times 5? 875, so it worked out all the way through. Okay, that last one's a kicker to make sure you did it right. With me? All right, you've got 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think that goes all the way through 6, doesn't it? Nope, just 3 and 4. Just 3 and 4. We'll do 5 and 6 together. Okay, so you're doing 3 and 4 now, following that pattern. Go. All right, so number 3, we would have 96 equals 6 times r to the 1, 2, 3, 4th power. 96 divided by 6 is going to be 16. So I'm going to need to take the 4th root of each side. It's an even root, correct? Yes. So that means I have to start with plus or minus, and the 4th root of 16 is 2. So I'm going to multiply by positive 2 first. If I multiply by positive 2 first, then I get 12, 24, and 48, correct? If I multiply by negative 2, I get negative 12, positive 24, and negative 48. Okay. Questions on that one? All right. Number 4. 972 is going to be 4 times r to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th power. First divide by 4. 972 divided by 4 is 243. Need to take the 5th root of both sides. 5th root of 243 is 3. So my r value is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. 36 times 3 is 108. 108 times 3 is 324. 324 times 3 is 972. So it works out. Okay. We follow the pattern. Last divided by first, then take the root. How do we know if there's going to be more than one solution for the missing terms? Even root. Yep, that's the kicker, is the even root. Okay? So everybody now, same terms with me, but I want you to find the missing terms if it's geometric and if it's arithmetic. So today versus yesterday on terms. Okay? And methods too. Go. First one for if it's geometric, I found my R values to be plus or minus 3. Yes? Okay. So the first term could either be positive or negative 12, depending on which one you are. The third term is always going to be 36. The fourth term could either be positive or negative 108, depending on which one you're multiplying by. Okay. Questions on that one? Okay. Get a common difference if it's arithmetic of 80. So then it's 84, 164, 244, and then 324. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? No? Okay. Homework this evening is 1 through 13 on the 1.9. I will also stamp stuff after I got a stack of stuff to hand back to people so that we can get going and make sure that we have stuff stamped all the way through up into including 1.9 if you get 1.9 done today. Okay? You don't have school tomorrow, no?
I know.